global gambling industry rakes in billions of dollars per annum, and the windfall continues to grow as casino owners and bookmakers fill their coffers with unimaginable wealth. Behind this sin, as old as humankind, exists an evil so dark that many do not recognize it even for what it is. If you think gambling is nothing more than human activity fueled by our human impulses, you thought wrong. There is nothing ordinary about gambling your money away just to get a high or in promise of quick wealth. Welcome to another exciting episode on Princip. In today's video, we will expose the demonic influence behind the gambling industry and why many who have fallen under it find it almost impossible to free themselves from its grip. This video promises to be exciting, even unnerving, so we advise that you get a grip of yourself before we proceed. Also, kindly subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, so you can continue to get updates each time a new video is published. Now, let's take you on a journey to unravel the demon prince responsible for lust and gambling. His name is Asmodeus, and he is not just any demon, but a prince of demons and a king in hell. He goes by different names, such as Asmodei, Sidonai, Chamadai, Asmodai, and many others. He used to be very close to the Archangel Gabriel before his fall from grace, and after his fall he has continued on his sworn mission to destroy the sons of men, not through war and violence, but through the subtle and deceptive arrows of lust. Asmodeus, the symbol of lust and source or despair, is the demon prince that inspires sexual sin, especially sins related to adultery. This demon is an arch-rival of the great Archangel Gabriel, who represents the symbol of chastity. In appearance, he has the breast of a man with a serpent tail and a cock leg with 3 heads. One is a man spitting fire, the other a bull, and the third a sheep. Asmodeus rides a lion with the neck of a dragon and dragon wings. These animals symbolize lust, revenge, and lasciviousness. Unlike his rebellious brothers, Lucifer, Beelzebub, and Marmon, Asmodeus is not mentioned often by many sacred books or the Bible, but we come across his identity in the deuterocanonical books of Tobit. This book exposed and brought to light his identity and character. We also find ample information about him in the Talmudic legends, several millenniums in the making. Furthermore, the legends record the influence Solomon had over him, and how the Jewish patriarchs subjugated him and forced him to build the Temple of Solomon. Not to worry, we will throw more light on that as we proceed later in the video. Before we connect Asmodeus to the gambling industry, it is only right that we establish his origin, characteristics, history, and features, so you understand the demonic entity we are dealing with. According to Renaissance scholars, Asmodeus is the king of the 9 hells, or one of the 7 princes of hell. This is because he was one of the high-ranking angels who pledged loyalty to Lucifer when he chose to storm the throne room to unseat God. According to Binsfeld's demon classification, he places Asmodeus as the demon of lust, which is one of the 7 deadly sins. This demon twists the sexual appetites of his victims so that they begin to experience uncontrolled sexual impulses. And once they fall to their lust and act on it, their judgment is to be sentenced to hell's 2nd level as punishment. As for his origin, there are different stories. One of them, which is highly unlikely, is that King David slept with a succubus, which resulted in the birth of a cambion, now known as Asmodeus. This story is recorded on the Rashba school of the Kabbalah. However, the story is hotly contested because there had been records of his existence before David was even born. Being a fallen angel, it is highly unlikely that a human would have birthed him. The other story, which is most probable, is the account of Saint Gregory. According to the monk, Asmodeus was an angel who was a member of the Order of Thrones. He was an ophanim. Ophanims were always in very close proximity to God and were responsible for pulling God's chariot in heaven between time and space. Before his fall, he was known as Asmodel, the angel of patience and the month of April. He was a virtuous and benevolent angel. He was believed to be quite close to Raphael until he went Lucifer's way. According to Kabbalah legends, when war broke out, he faced off with Archangel Raphael in a furious duel of celestial proportion. Being a leading member of the rebellion, he was at the head of one of the invading groups, heading for the throne room, but was stopped by Raphael. Despite their previously close relationship, the Archangel spared him not. In a clash that lasted several hours, Asmodeus fought with determination and tact, but he could not match the speed, strength, and grace of the mighty Archangel. In the ensuing melee, Raphael severely injured him and ripped off the lion part of his body, after which he was hurled down to earth in the mighty fall. Due to this event, dating back millions of years, Asmodeus harbors a morbid hatred for the Archangel and is always seeking to destroy all those who are affiliated with him using cunning and lust. For further evidence of his existence, we can look to the book of Tobit and his encounter with Sarah. Sarah is a daughter of Raguel, who is unable to have a successful marriage. This is because Asmodeus is obsessed with her and has killed 7 husbands who had come before, slaying them on their wedding night before they can even sleep with their new bride. The demon is so jealous and vengeful that he doesn't want any man to have Sarah. However, the unsung hero of the story, Tobias, comes along to marry her, and Asmodeus is preparing to kill the young man just like the others. Then Raphael, his great rival, comes to the groom's rescue. He directs Tobias to place the heart and liver of a fish on hot, fiery cinders. The smoke this act generates causes Asmodeus to flee to Egypt, as he can't stand the strong odor of burning fish. The Archangel chases him all the way there and binds him so he cannot return to hurt Tobias. Ancient scholars believe that Sarah was Asmodeus's only object of desire, as he truly loved her. He went after no other woman but her and was willing to kill anyone who threatened to take her away from him. In the Talmudic legends, the Temple of Solomon is affiliated with Asmodeus. The story is that King Solomon, who had an uncanny ability to control and manipulate Asmodeus, captured this prince of hell and forced him to use his unearthly skills to construct the temple. By drawing from his experience dating back many millenniums, the king was able to complete the impossible task of building such a magnificent temple in record time. This story is further corroborated in the Testament of Solomon, which is a 1st century text. During his interaction with the king, the demon tells the king that his kingdom will be divided in the future. This prophecy comes true. After his death, his son King Rehoboam fails to heed the wise counsel of the elders and threats Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and his people harshly. This account is recorded in the books of 1 Kings, chapter 12, verse 8. This causes an uprising in the kingdom, leading to an everlasting breaking of the country, as some of the people rebel and install Jeroboam as king. Asmodeus also tells the king of his strife with Angel Raphael, including how the power of sheath fish found in the Assyrian river can thwart his activities. Solomon also learns that he hates water and birds because it reminds him of the God of heaven. Now that you know more about this demon prince of hell, let us draw his connection to the gambling industry. At the base of all gambling activity is greed and lust. The lust for future benefit. The lust for money lures men to sacrifice exorbitant amount of cash in a bid to trap the future wealth that is promised. Wherever lust lies, Asmodeus exists hence. People continue to visit casinos and betting sites in pursuit of future riches. The global gambling industry cannot be accurately quantified in value, but it runs into hundreds of billions of dollars every year. When it comes to casinos in particular, Asmodeus's influence is even more telling. Many visitors who gamble in casinos often reveal that once they enter into the gambling halls, they feel a cloud descend upon them and their senses ceases to be their own. What many don't know is that in many of these casinos, there are symbols that trigger such insatiable appetites. One of them is the Asmodeus pentagram. Have you seen this pentagram in a gambling house or casino, or even a gambling website? Look closely. This is Asmodeus's symbol. It invokes the demon of gambling, and once at high energy, people enter into a crazed frenzy and they don't stop until they lose all their money. Funny enough, even after losing it all, they don't feel bad because they are still high on Asmodeus's juice. In fact, they feel ecstatic about it, like they are on drugs. It is only after they leave the halls and the hold wears out that they realize that they have gambled their life's fortune away. Eventually, they fall into depression and regrets. Drinking and drug abuse follows until their health fails them, or they commit suicide and die. As a matter of fact, suicide is one of the leading causes of death for gambling addicts. If this is not mysterious enough, consider the months many casinos consider their most profitable and its connection to this evil demon. Many of the mega gambling houses make the most money between November and March, with February being a high-frequency month. According to some demonologists, the month of Asmodeus is November when his power is at its zenith. Others say it is Aquarius, which is strongest in February. Regardless of which one you believe, the signs cannot be more clear. When his power is strongest, his influence on entire populations is tremendous. Sex, alcohol, and gambling become triplet twins that wreak havoc on health, finances, and family. His gambling hold may affect some women, but it is strongest on men who represents the highest number of gamblers. But when it comes to sexual perversion, his hold on both sexes is proportionate. Famous cities where Asmodeus reigns supreme should not come as a surprise to you. In these cities, sex, drugs, and gambling fuel the local economy. In the US, his capital is Las Vegas, home to the biggest gambling casinos in the Union. Here, people from all walks of life and upper echelons of society from around the world visit the Nevada Strip to gamble fortunes away. Los Angeles is not far away, as it is known as a famous site for debauchery. Another famous capital for Asmodeus is in the Far East Island of Macau. Here, the demon reigns supreme and attracts the best and worst of humanity to gamble fortunes on the altar of vanity and hedonism. While there exists plentiful gambling cities in the world with large casinos, these locations are quite famous for the billions of dollars they make as gambling revenues. We also see his influence spreading in the Middle East, with previously conservative Islamic countries now opening secret gambling parlors in places like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, and more famously, Dubai. Despite Islam's aversion for gambling, this demon is spreading his wings like never before. Under his command are 72 demonic legions with which he spreads his influence around the world. According to the Ars Goetia, he has a gold seal and was cited as a demon prince by nuns he possessed at Lodun in 1634. Make no mistake, this demon prince, under only the authority of Lucifer, has mastered the art of gambling. Even 16th century demonologist of Dutch ancestry, Johann Weyer, calls him hellsbanker and lord of the baccarat table. From his lofty position in hell, he oversees gambling houses on earth. This best explains why owners of gambling companies use his imagery and symbols on their buildings, cards, roulette, and chips to incite players and invoke his power. Gambling is synonymous with waste, and where gambling activity is prevalent, sex, drugs, alcohol, depression, and death are sure to follow. We hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Next week, we promise to bring another exciting episode, but until then, stay alert, have faith, and be gracious.